again, Broncos country.
Really excited to chop up some Broncos with you all this week.
Bourbon, Broncos, and no BS.
Favorite time of the week. We're not for the Raiders, Chargers, or Chiefs. So grab your brews in your fantasy league. We got that blue and orange blood that you bleed. The most loyal fans there ever could be. We are that mile high Broncos country.
Orange Weekly, fans, brews, and Broncos news. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Orange Weekly's Tuesday night show, Bourbon, Broncos, and no BS. My name is Kevdan, and to kind of start off everything, it's been a very tough week for all of us here in Broncos country, obviously, with the passing of Demaryius Thomas. So we felt obviously it was necessary to spend a little bit of time honoring him and his name and his legacy that he's left behind. And so kind of to start off, what we want to go for here is, if you don't know about Orange Weekly and what got us started, it was really on the basis of community and the Broncos country feeling and being able to come together. With myself and Jared, the founders, being down in Florida, stationed there away from other Broncos fans, this was really started as a way to bring people together. And we have really seen that, especially over the last week, of all of Broncos country coming together and supporting each other, supporting Demaryius Thomas's family, friends, loved ones, and all those that he's left behind, unfortunately. So I tell you what, being in the stadium was powerful. All the DT chants, everything that happened during the game, the play that started off the game, the interception that Simmons made going over to the number 88 on the sidelines. It was something incredibly moving that I think DT would have loved, and we'll definitely talk about that and some of the numbers that came from the game. That it was just to say that DT was down there probably playing some football as well. I could believe it. So we're going to take just a few seconds here and kind of give a little moment of silence. We'll bring up the crew. We're going to share our thoughts, our memories, good times about Demaryius Thomas, and not just the plays that he made on the field, but the amazing person that he was off the field as well. And we'll focus on that for a little bit in memory of him before we move on to the other Broncos topics of the week. So a little moment of silence for Demaryius Thomas. Okay, everyone, I'm going to bring up the crew here. Welcome, as we usually have, John, David, Ayla, great co-hosts, as we always do. Guys, how y'all doing tonight?
I'm fine. Somebody's been cutting onions in here, though.
Yeah. I will say, if you go listen to the post-game podcast, you're probably going to hear me getting choked up quite a bit. So,
yeah. And as it should be, well said, Kevin, first of all. All of Broncos country thinking about DT this week and in the weeks to come. All the best to his family. Our thoughts and prayers with them. What else can you say about one of the all-time great Broncos.
Yeah, not much to say.
Right.
Taken way too soon. Just the ultimate professional on and off the field, and it has been said a lot, but not enough, and it will never be enough.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's tributes to him, everybody's words. It just shows you what he was and what he meant to us, and how tragic it is to lose somebody like that is the only word that comes to mind, but it doesn't say enough of what it means to us, because
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
it's the unexpectedness of it is going to be the ultimate torture for everybody. And gone too soon. Somebody who was a fantastic football player, but had a heart of gold.
100%. And to hear the stories from his teammates and see some pictures that honestly I hadn't seen before of him in a Santa suit, on his knees playing with kids, during Christmas time. And people like Tyler Paloma saying that after Super Bowl 50, his son sat on DT's lap and right next to DT the whole way home, as if he was his own kid, and that he was at all the charity events that all the other players, for their other charities, he was there to support them. And, in a position that, not to throw shade or anything, but in a position that, has a reputation for being filled with divas and people that are very self-centered. He was the complete opposite. And he gave it all on the field and off the field, so in his 33 years, I can guarantee you that he lived his life to the fullest, in every way possible. And I think that says something to a lot of us in how we should live our lives as well. See, here I go again, but
you know what
and
I
I
always
just
love?
thought I was like the weird one. Like I kept apologizing for crying during the game to my husband. I was like, I'm sorry, I don't know why I just keep crying, and I'm glad I'm not the only one. Because
no,
you know what my favorite thing about DT is how often he got, he would make a physical catch over the middle and take a shot to his legs and get up kind of gimpy and maybe go off for a play and then just come back and then just be a monster for the entire rest of the game and make another important catch. It was just that way about him that obviously, his teammates responded to that and so much more, but it's just kind of my favorite memory of watching DT.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that everything that happened this weekend, there needs to be a huge shout out and thank you for the respect that we got from the Lions fans as well. There was the picture that's been circulating from the Lions fan with the sign that says, "Today we're all Broncos fans. This one's for Demarius." And the class act that the Lions had to start off the game, obviously that was pre-coordinated between the two teams, but the fans, not to say that they had a lot to cheer about during the game, but they were just so respectful, and they were during the game they were chanting DT along with everybody else. It was just I have a lot of respect for them, and the love that they showed Broncos country that day as well. So,
all right, I'm not going to say we have to shut this off right now, but I will say if we do stop talking about DT right now, and we could go on the entire show, but if we stopped literally when I started this sentence, we would have stopped at 9 minutes, 28 seconds or 8 minutes and 80 seconds. I'm just putting it out there.
Well, and so with all this, the tears and the sadness, some people, whatever you believe in, I think there were some numbers that came out of the game that made me think that, maybe DT was down there, like I said, playing some football with us. And as sad as we are, that he'd want us doing exactly this, talking football with each other, having fun and having laughs with each other. I guarantee you he was celebrating that win up in heaven with Pat Bowlen and, all the other former Broncos that have come before us as well. So, I think to start the game. I mean, for those who didn't, I don't know how they announced it on TV. I think Rob was saying that he didn't really catch what was going on, but with the Broncos going out in a 10-man huddle and Sutton sitting on the sideline because Sutton plays the position that Demaryius Thomas was in, the X receiver there. And for the Lions to obviously decline that penalty that we took in honor of DT to start off the game. And I mean, to follow all up with, not only did Justin Simmons intercept that ball right next to the 88 on the field, but that drive we put down in touchdowns was 88 yards right there. I mean, it's just
the last offensive drive. It's just
everything that happened today. It was just like, you know what, this is good. This is good for everybody.
There's serendipity there for sure.
So. But I think, as we go through today, the topic of DT will keep coming up. But I think it's important for us to come together, have fun, have some laughs, grab that brew, guys, everybody, kick back, relax, post your comments, post your questions. And we're going to enjoy talking some football just the way Demaryius.
And I love what you said, Kev. We can all learn something from him of just, being a good person without even having to flaunt it. Just do the right thing. You don't even need to tell everybody donated to everybody's charities. You don't have to do any of that. Just keep it up and, and smile a whole lot because he did.
Yep, exactly. Boom. Mr. Jared, how you doing, good sir?
I'm doing well. I heard you guys talking about the DT thing, and you guys probably said everything. You know what the cool part about the whole DT, just everybody around the league, the NFL, Justin Simmons stepping in, Von Miller last night, wearing the 88. It just shows what kind of person he was. And while he was a great football player, probably the best wide receiver we've ever had, maybe comparable to Rod Smith, right? Top two for sure. He made an impact on a lot of people's lives, not just on the football field. And the Boys and Girls Club of Denver, Metro Denver, there's a lot of people, parents of kids that went there that have been speaking out about just how genuine he was. And that's definitely something that we can learn from. And I think you put it good, Kevin, and Ayla, you echoed the sentiment. Just that's something we can learn from. Just be a good person, and everything will follow. And it just sucks that it was just so young. I think the other part that hits me hard is he was 2 weeks away from his 34th birthday.
Yeah.
And that's a lot to take in.
Christmas baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to Vance Joseph too for speaking so passionately and so eloquently about DT. It's
Absolutely.
not a lot of shout outs to Vance Joseph on this show, but credit where credit was due. That was really nice to hear from him, a guy who knew him really well.
Yeah. 100%. I do want to pull this up really quickly. A charity that's been going around on Twitter. But let me, if you guys want to go over to here, it's at Sandin Goat for the Demaryius Thomas charity, asking people donate $9 for the 9 years he was in Denver. To apreciouschild.org/donate. So, DT did suffer as a kid, displaced from family. He did have a rough growing up, but this is something that, I think people have been donating a lot to, and just trying to make the rounds, make some awareness here. So if you guys feel so inclined, $9 for DT, apreciouschild.com/donate. Okay.
I just love it. He was never lost from him.
Yeah.
The fame never got to him that was he forgot where he came from. If anything, it did the opposite, and it pushed him to want to help other people who might be in the same situation. That's absolutely amazing. Just you can't speak more. You can't speak more highly of the guy.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Okay. So everyone, as I said before, bring in those questions, bring in those comments. Let's talk some football. Let's come together as a family and have some fun. So make sure you're drinking responsibly, please. I know I got my Christmas beer here. It's delicious. So for what it's worth. So cheers to all of you guys here on the show with me. Cheers to everyone who's watching the show. Glad you're here. So let's start with this. Maybe a little bit better question. How are y'all feeling after the win in general, though? I mean, obviously it was the Lions, but what do you take away from that?
It was a big win. It was a big win we were looking for. We were hoping for. We said it last week. Hey, as long as we win, that's the first priority. But to go out and show the way they did and doing it, of course, most of the time for Demaryius Thomas was so amazing. Every time there was a big play, it felt good. It's just another sequence in the roller coaster that this season has been, and we'll see. Maybe this leads to us finishing the season strong.
Yeah, I'm ready to be heard again. But here's the thing. The thing about that last game. Here's the thing about that last game. That might be the first game. I mean, after the first four, I'd say that ended the way it was supposed to.
Mm.
Yeah, and I think that's something that says something, right? The Cowboys game wasn't supposed to be a blowout. The Philly game we shouldn't have lost. The Chargers game, people weren't expecting us to be in it, right? So that game ended the way it was supposed to, with us having a decently good win. We beat the spread for the first time ever, I think. I mean, other than the Cowboys game that we were supposed to, and that game went exactly like how we discuss it, and you go line by line. That's how that game is supposed to play out. So. I'm ready to be. I say I'm ready to be heard again because now I'm back in the belief that the Broncos got it together and that we're going to be consistent with it going into Cincinnati, which we'll talk about later. But I'm there. I'm ready to make another puffball bet, David.
Okay, I'm really looking forward to that because I feel like I'm going to win again. You keep letting yourself be taken on the roller coaster, Jared. I'm trying to tell you, stay low. Stay low. I take basically nothing from this game because it was an impressive performance, especially by the running game. I thought they married the pass game to the run game a little bit better. I thought if you listen to the pregame podcast, I thought they did a really good job distributing the ball short and intermediate a little bit more. Definitely got Jerry Jeudy a lot more involved. Not so much Cortland Sutton, which would have helped me financially, but that's another question altogether. You saw flashes from Noah Fant. You saw flashes from Tim Patrick, obviously. But Jerry Jeudy was catching balls left and right. Yeah. It was to me the best version, almost the best version of this offense. If you can throw one of those two deep ball like we saw against Dallas in there, once per game into that offense, I think that's peak Broncos offense. That's the best you could reasonably expect from them for the rest of the year. But I haven't seen any signs that they're going to do that consistently next game.
Right. But you said something important here. Noah Fant had a big game, and I think this is big on Teddy Bridgewater and his recognition of the defense because I've always been very skeptical about his defensive recognition pre-snap. He recognized that matchup right off the bat on that big 32-yard that 32-yard catch. Yeah. Now, did it carry over for the rest of the game? Not 100% sure, but we did that on purpose. We lined up a tight end out at a wide position, and we saw what they covered. And they covered with a linebacker, which means it's man. There's no linebacker that's going to be playing cover 2 on the outside. So he took advantage of that, and he recognized the defense pretty well, which means there's growth. But I think at this point in the season, I don't think we're looking for growth. I think we're looking for consistency.
That's it. It's too late for growth now. You're in you're coming up on week 14.
Yeah. But to your point, tight ends had half the receiving yards in this game, which is good. I wish we could
step up over running back.
Passing yards in general.
Yes.
So that we could get Tim Patrick really going, get Cortland Sutton really going. But we do need to get the tight ends more involved. But the running game, led the show on offense this week again. And that's how we're going to be in games, I feel like, with this offense. So props to them to keep that going and seeing a little bit more play action passing once the run game was established. That's what I really was excited to see more of, at least this game, and want to see even more next game.
Yeah, absolutely. Mix it in on first down, second down.
Yeah.
Especially when the run game's working so well.
Right. Yeah.
No reason not to do it.
Very much so.
Yeah. Having 3 out of 4 quarters be completely dominant, we will win every single game that happens like that. And that's exactly what it was. the second quarter, everybody was kind of holding their butts like, geez, Louise, let's not lose. This can't. And then it didn't matter because it was lights out after that. So, anybody that we play and be that consistent, our defense showed up too. I mean,
Well,
and a lot of people will be like, oh, Detroit, blah, blah. They looked great. So,
They did.
hats off to them for doing their part as well.
Mm-hmm.
We said it last week. They played pretty much every game really tight and really close. And so the fact that we got blowout win should say something for the Broncos a little bit.
And it's, that defense to me, especially if I was to take anything away from the game, that would be the performance that I would look at, is especially since they're getting a few more turnovers nowadays. They're consistently turning the ball over on a game-to-game basis, which they weren't doing in the beginning of the season.
I think we're 4 games in a row with an interception.
Right. Yeah. And, you had the forced fumble as well. You were a toe away from getting another forced fumble.
Right.
The toe out. That was just some slippage. It didn't even
the slippage.
You got the slippage. David hated that so much he froze.
And
he's got.
Hopefully his internet didn't crash again.
Yeah. So let's talk about this. That failed video challenge. So Vic Fangio did have that challenge. I don't
dog shit.
If we're gonna we keep talking about firing people, but if we're gonna fire anybody, whoever their quality control is up there telling him to throw the flag from the
telling
booth,
him to go with that,
needs to be fired.
I don't understand it.
Something tells me they're
the girl can see it, and she's screaming at the TV. It's bad.
Don't do it. I know just because they showed a replay doesn't mean that it's challengeable. You need to be able to control that. That was unfortunate that that Vic Fangio.
And I don't even get
it's a
why
really nice way to say it.
I don't even get why he challenged. I mean, we were up 24-10, 27-10. I mean, it's not like that would have turned the tide of the game or something for us. It was a stupid call. Somebody needs to go down there at the beginning of the next 4 games and say, hey, coach, let me see that red flag really fast, and then run away with it. You lose the red flag privileges. You don't get that anymore.
I'm so glad I came back for this. I'm so glad I came back.
Yeah. So Rob, I love it. So it looked close. Right. And don't get me right. Live, it did look close. But this is why you have a quality control person up in the booth. This is 100% why that person, their entire job is to watch replays and let Coach Fangio know whether to throw the flag or not. Yeah. And they're getting it in live time. At the high school level, we're getting it live time on our iPads. At that level, you're probably getting it quicker and you can slow it down. There's got to be someone up in the booth that's there's a monkey with this in the position. It's Kevin. If it was me, no wonder Kevin's at all the home games.
Me from Orange Weekly. I don't even deserve to be here if that was me up in that booth. God damn it.
And I'll tell you, I didn't mind that Kansas City one last week as much, because when you slow it down, it really did look like it could have been a catch and fumble, that Kelsey challenge.
That one I'm much more okay with.
Right. This one, it's like I said, I get that it's close, but it's not so close that once you can look at it once, slow down. And
one
say,
replay.
You need one replay to say, no, he's out of bounds with that toe before he starts to fumble, guys.
But that's the other thing. In the Kansas City game, that game was closer. That turnover would have been huge for us. This game.
Yeah, we're lucky we didn't need that. We're lucky we didn't need that.
All you're doing is making yourself look like an idiot, Fangio, and adding another talking point to everybody saying, why are you challenging me?
These 5 talking heads to talk crap about you.
I really think he just doesn't give a F and is you can't take them with you. You've got to use they don't carry over. I don't get to roll this challenge over.
Didn't he say that? So who was it? Was it him or somebody else that was you can't take challenges with you?
I'm pretty sure that was David in the group chat.
Right? Yeah, it was. I think I said that on Sunday, but it bears repeating because it's what else could the strategy be here? Do you just do you actively disdain your timeouts that much? Do you hate them? You come up to this timeout slot on your little board, your coach board, and say every week, "I hate you." No, we're not on speaking. You're out. We're gonna
We
waste
probably
you.
won't need this. Doesn't matter. Let's go.
Yeah.
It's like his score sheet. Like normally they have play sheets. It's just a bingo card.
Yeah.
Like, he's just checking off different
Lost
bingo card
challenge.
slots.
Did I challenge today? No, not yet. Better make it happen.
Yeah, challenge randomly. Check.
He's got that one right like in the middle too, so where it's easiest to make the bingo if you have that
Right.
one. So
Right,
that's,
exactly.
that's
the freebie square.
yeah,
It's
exactly.
the freebie square. Do we need to come up with an Orange Weekly bingo card? I feel like we should.
Definitely.
Well, to Jared and David's point, it
And
only
every
takes one
time
review
we just
for us
check it off.
to realize it's not going to be overturned, and they don't. I feel like they don't even make it to the sideline before they say, "Yeah, that the play stands."
Yeah,
They can't even
they're like they
through
get
the
like
full
halfway to the
commercial.
jog,
Yeah.
and then they stop to take a breath, like, and then someone's in their ear like, "Nah, man, nah,
Don't
bro,
worry
just
about
go
it.
back out, go back out."
Well, I want to know what that conversation. The ref goes up to the coach and says, "Hey, okay, Vic, what do you want to challenge?" And he goes, "I don't know what did you guys call out there? Whatever it was, I disagree with it. Like,
Right.
I don't even know what happened that play. I was like looking at I was tying my shoe or something. I just I challenged it. Like
Yeah, for
I
sure.
like the clapping monkey though. I think that's the best.
that's the QA guy up in the. I don't even know who he is. He's probably a great guy. He's probably just not even. It's one of those things where he's just like he's doing the same thing we are drinking. Like, yeah, go. Oh crap, I'm supposed to. Yeah, no, sure, yeah, throw it, yeah, throw the do the thing.
Oh man.
We don't have it marked off on bingo yet. Go.
Right.
Yeah. My bingo card's a little low on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so what else? I mean, so obviously we had the run game, guys. What else do you want to see that happened well in this game on the offensive side of the ball that worked? We can talk about.
I liked utilizing Noah Fant.
Mhm.
I always want that guy in there doing his thing because I'm like a huge Noah Fant advocate, and so I did enjoy seeing that quite a bit. I always think they should feed him a little bit more.
Mhm.
That's why I wanted to mention it, Ayla. That was a huge. I mean, the fact that we haven't done this yet with as big and athletic as a tight end as Noah Fant is, lining him up in the wide out spot. First of all, that's immediately you could tell what coverage they're playing, depending on who they have covering him. And second, if they do put a linebacker out there, you take that 1-on-1 every day.
Yeah,
And that's huge. So I think the fact that that's happening is helpful. But again, I think David said it a little late in the game, but we're not.
Yeah.
We're not mathematically eliminated.
You didn't even look.
So there's a chance.
How do you know?
and
look,
it did help. It did help that the Raiders lost, so that was great.
Yes. And then this Thursday night's going to be huge. And then Cincinnati is going to be huge. Talking about like going into this week is a huge week for the Broncos and the playoff implications for us.
Right.
And I can't. I mean, we keep talking about every game's a playoff game at this point, but if Kansas City can beat the Chargers on Thursday night, which is I think it's going to be a close game, and we go in and beat Cincinnati, our playoff odds skyrocket.
Right now, we just need KC to win out, which is it's just
the ideal
frustrating,
situation
but
is
it's frustrating.
totally
It's the smartest thing to happen now that the spread between the teams has. They've come up out of that race a little bit. The horse races, they're pulling ahead, and now we're going to dogfight for one of the, luckily there's 3 wild card spots. So it's definitely could happen. So we'll just watch it all play. This will be a fun week of football. It does feel like playoffs already. You're just like sitting on the edge of your seat with every game.
Right.
So Jeffrey, this is a good question. So I here at Orange Weekly am always a mathematically eliminated guy.
Yep.
So I'm very much that doesn't mathematically, but does it pretty much eliminate them? I mean, that takes the reign out of the Broncos' hands
So far.
And then
so
there's 2
far
away
out of the Broncos'
games
hands.
after
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So that's hard.
because it goes straight into
3 divisional games and
3 division
away
games in a row, 2 of them away.
Yeah.
And the final game against KC at home on week 18. Yeah, it's a tough schedule after that. So I think it does. I mean, I never want to say eliminate until,
until it actually does.
Until this says so.
Right.
But you're right. I think Cincinnati is also in the wild card chase, which I think is a huge piece to this puzzle as we're talking about 3 wild card teams. We're talking the Chargers are in the wild card race, and if we could beat I think right now, I'll tell you right now, if we beat Cincinnati and we beat the Chargers, we're in the wild card.
Yeah,
those are our two biggest games. I mean, Raiders, whatever, right? That might be a discussion for next week. But if we beat the Chargers and we beat the Bengals this week, we're wild card.
We gotta win 3 out of 4 for me because
for sure.
It's gonna take 10. It's gonna take 10 wins to make the playoffs. How close the AFC is. So
that's it.
We lose this week, we gotta win out. Which is it gonna happen? Probably not with 3 games against the AFC West opponents.
Well, if you think about it, I mean, one of the things that we need to happen at this point is for the Chiefs to win. And so, Sam, appreciate you watching, even though you're a Bolts fan, and welcome to the show. But we need the Chiefs to win because ideally Week 18 comes around. Chiefs already have the number 1 seed locked up. Whatever happens, this is, best case scenario for us. They maybe rest, some of their players or don't play them as frequently. Gives us a little advantage to be able to win at home in a game that could very well put us into the playoffs or not. So as much as I hate to say it, we need the Chiefs to win here. So
I'll say what I'm in for there, Kevin. I want a 0-0 tie. I want the Broncos to win out and not give a shit about what the other teams do in the AFC West. Have 11 wins, and we don't really care what the other teams do. All right? How about that?
There you go. I love that from John.
Just gonna get that. Okay.
Yeah. Did we switch roles? Like, what happened here?
What happened?
All of a sudden, John's like, yeah, no problem. We went out.
Right.
11 wins. We're in the playoffs.
Just do it.
Yeah.
0-0
playoffs.
We can do it.
11 wins. Here's the thing: 11 wins. We're in the playoffs. Fangio and probably Shermer and definitely Tom McMahon are all back next year.
That's it.
They deserve it if we have 11 wins, though.
That's it. Right. Oh, that's it.
You say that now until game 1 of next year comes around, special team blunders, and everyone's like, why do we have McMahon here?
Kevin.
We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Kevin, focus.
I'm going to do it for you,
Kevin.
Jared. I'm going to do it for you.
Okay. All right. There we go. All right. We're good. He knew where this was going. He made it bad. Yeah.
I'm just gonna go.
This is just off the top of my head here, guys. I haven't actually looked this up, but I think every team in the AFC except for the Patriots, Chiefs, Titans, Jets, Dolphins, Jaguars, and Texans have either 6 or 7 wins right now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's got to be. You've got to do something to separate yourself from this pack a little bit. You've got, John. I think you're absolutely right on. It's got to be 3 out of 4.
Jets, Titans, or Texans, Jaguars.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, no, but we talked about this. There's going to be 9-win teams. I think there's going to be 2 9-win teams that make the wild card.
I think there's going to be at least one. I think there will be at least one.
Look at the AFC teams.
I know, but they all have to play each other.
They all play each other.
That's it. I think at least 1 9-win team will make the playoffs, potentially 2. But yeah, Broncos. If the Broncos want to be that team.
If we win 2, Kansas City beats the Chargers this week. We beat them 2 weeks from now or 3 weeks from now. We win the tiebreaker because we beat them twice. Then we have second in the AFC and we have the wild card.
It's too much calculation already for me with 4 weeks.
Right. Yeah. No. And
it's all up here.
Don't worry about that because these Broncos. We're gonna be here next week.
Right.
And in the third week, just so disappointed.
That's it. When we're in the 3rd week in January, sitting at home because we finished 8 and 9, all of this is going to seem super ridiculous. But until then,
it's fun in the moment, man. It's fun in the moment.
It is fun in the moment.
You can't have that negativity here, David.
Like the Broncos have to feel pretty good about this. This is the first time since 2016 we're even above 500 after 13
Absolutely.
games. So we as Bronco fans, you guys got to look at like the silver linings of like this season isn't as terrible as all the other ones since the Super Bowl. Basically have been like
we're just so jaded. We are just so expecting to be disappointed this weekend. I am expecting it. Sadly.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
I'm not.
I'm there.
I'm on board.
Let's
do this.
I'm totally wrong.
I'm ambivalent because expectations are the blueprints for disappointment. So like if you're expecting to win, I'm going to be disappointed. If you're expecting to lose, you're going to be like, yeah, well,
You are right, because I mean the exact same thing happened against the Cowboys, and that was.
I'm going into it with
that starkly
orange-colored
nihilist
glasses. I'm
Yeah.
always optimistic, but I'm not expecting.
I don't know. That expectations are the blueprint to disappointment. I can get behind that. Like
Yeah,
that's
no,
a philosophy I'm with.
I am writing that down for a future T-shirt.
Right. Maybe don't. Maybe never say
no,
that.
I didn't. Don't quote. I didn't make it up, so don't give me credit for it. It's definitely been said by a lot of other people before me.
Has it?
No, we're gonna
I don't know about it, so it's
Quote
it's
Ayla.
Ayla.
And Jared, if you're trying to get further your coaching career at any point, maybe don't say that to like players or around anybody who's above you in the coaching hierarchy. But
yeah, no, that's honestly that's when I interview for coaching jobs. That's the first thing I say.
Let us know how that works.
Yeah.
Hey, so look, we're talking about potential disappointments, and look, you never know where these games are going to go, right? There is something out there you can do that will definitely not be a disappointment, and that is by checking out our friends at DraftKings Sportsbook. Look, 4 weeks left. We all love the action-packed, high-scoring NFL games, and there's tons of them left. So the latest no-brainer from DraftKings Sportsbook means that you're going to be a winner once a single point is scored. New customers who bet just $1 on any team to score can win $100 in free bets. It's really that simple. If Sportsbook isn't available in your state yet, you can still get in on this NFL action. Everyone can play for huge cash prizes all season long with DraftKings Daily Fantasy Sports Contest. And DraftKings is giving all new customers a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes with their first deposit. Now, here's what we need you to do. Go download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code TPPN. Bet $1 on any team to score and win $100 in free bets. If they score, you score with promo code TPPN this week at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Must be 21 years or older in a state that allows sports betting. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit and $1 wager required. One per customer. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER for help. Okay. There you go. I'm done. You guys take it from here. I'm just gonna sit back.
That's
drink.
Yeah. Did the business part of it. Now it's just time to drink.
There you go.
I appreciate it.
You guys do whatever.
Put up a comment from Joey, not his last comment, but the comment about me, because I think that's just the most fantastic.
That is
thing
funny.
I think I've ever
That is
heard.
funny.
Thank you, Joey. I honestly I kind of feel like that now that you put it that way. Like I can see myself outside the old stadium with like a pack of Marlboro Reds, like
Yes.
chain smoking them. And
Two of them. One that you're smoking. The other one that's like very obviously showing in your jeans.
Right. Yeah.
That like with the spot. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Of course. So yeah, that's and tickets. Y'all need some tickets.
There it is.
I've definitely walked past David.
Absolutely.
I've walked past David.
I've been
times.
offered tickets by David. Sometimes aggressive.
But let's go
That's
to
funny.
Joey's other question. What do you all think about this?
It's so
I think we're not.
No, I just don't think it gets utilized.
Yeah, there it is.
I'm
Ayla hit it on the
gonna repeat exactly what John said, because it's like it's a perfect thing for if he doesn't just.
That's what we do. We text each other right before we say something.
Yeah, no, we do. It's like, you guys want to play repeater? You want to play repeater?
It's a lot of fun. Everyone enjoys it.
Can I get on this text chain because I feel left out?
Well, there's a reason.
I'm not in on it, so.
Oh, there's a reason for that.
If you were a more interesting person, more.
But no, the sad thing is, when we're talking about Noah Fant just a few minutes ago, we're talking like he had a 100-yard game, like multiple touchdowns. The guy only had 4 catches for 50 yards, and that feels like he's being utilized finally. It's just
More than he, and I think. It's
But every time he
because-
was targeted on target, he caught the ball.
Yeah, he was. And we only threw for 180 yards, so 50
Right.
ain't bad there when we're running the ball so well. Like the game dictates, what the scene's gonna be, right? So yeah, we rushed 39 times and threw it 25 times. So yeah, there's not gonna be as many passing yards to go around, but still, he only had a 50-yard game. We're acting like this was his breakout game of the year.
Well, I mean, we just haven't used him.
I know. I'm not saying we're wrong for that.
This is the thing too.
Kev, you putting this
happy to
up
see
and then
how
having a
it
sip of your drink, like that is
means
that
like
is some-
you are ready to
That
talk. He's
was some
gonna
mean stuff
swallow
right
the
there.
beer and
Yeah, he's
go
like-
up
Kev has some
and-
He's like-
opinions here. Yeah.
Jared, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, no, and listen, that's the most frustrating thing too, because you have two tight ends who could be like in the range of very effective to like dynamic, and you've got to unlock them. You've got to be able to scheme up more ways to get them the ball in space. I know it's easy to sit back for as fans and say just do it, but what else are you doing with them? What else are you doing?
I mean, I think our tight ends are the most useful thing. They're the most useful thing in an offense that is built the way that it's built. Whether or not that's the coaching style, whether or not that's the play, our offense right now, between the offensive line, the running back room, and the wide receiver and tight end room, is establish the run to open up the pass. That's how our offense is built. Two top tight ends are super useful in that situation. Now, however, if Noah Fant could block a little better, we wouldn't, maybe he's kind of a glorified wide receiver, less of a tight end. But Alberto, he's a decent blocker and can go out for passes, and that's a huge piece for that.
We have a lot of weapons on this offense too, though. We have 3.
This offense is just so.
do.
This goes to
That's why
Steve's
it's going to
comment.
be great. That's going to be great when we get Russell Wilson next year. So.
Or Aaron Rodgers, whichever one we get. All right, so here's the thing, Steve. This is a great question, and I love having this conversation, so I'm bringing it up. Some people are on the different coaches. We'd have a great time, a great year. Different quarterback, we'd have a great year. Which side of this are you thinking it's a combination of the two? Because I fully believe that it's an either one thing. Which side of this are you on? Let's go around the room.
For me, it's coaching this year. But again, if we have if you look at the calculator, there is a possibility to have 11 wins this season. That is a slim chance, but possible.
I mean, you turn the Pittsburgh game and the Cleveland game.
Yeah.
You're already what, at 9? Okay.
Or even just one of
sorry.
those, honestly.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I interrupted you, John. Go ahead.
But yeah, so yeah, I think for me it's coaching, but let's wait till see what the rest of the season looks like before we make that determination.
I thought you were going to wait till what everybody else says, so then you could just
come back
to me.
Yeah, hey, David, what's your thought process on this? And then I'm going to take notes.
Well, all right. Well, I mean, I'm going to give basically a non-answer here, which is to say that,
okay, don't do that. You're okay, Ayla. What do you think is happening? That's twice I've had to kick David. Can't give a non-answer. You can't answer it like I'm going to give a non-answer. Like, answer the question, David. Answer the question. Really? Ayla, go ahead. I've got him muted.
At one point or no?
It's really hard for me to say one or the other because it's rebuilding if we would have gotten rid of the coaches anyways, and we're still getting used to Teddy, and we are, we're not in a losing season just yet, and we're not mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. So like a better record, or a better season so far. Like, I, as a Bronco fan, I get disheartened when we lose and that we're not, top of the AFC West, but I am actually very happy that we are doing better than before. So I don't know. And I feel like throwing Vic out, and getting somebody new, you're just starting over again from the beginning. And that's hard for any team. I don't think you're great the first season that you have a brand new coach, no matter what. But maybe, I guess it depends on the coach. But we haven't had any luck with that. So
I mean, we went to a Super Bowl with one, but that's a different story.
We're talking like this.
It's a different story.
Okay.
No, I agree.
I think that had made. I think that might have been. That was the quarterback year. That was the really good part of that season. Quarterback.
Yeah.
Well, so and Rob, let me first put you this way. You're right. I shouldn't have to put up with that from Team Visor. If I just logged in, I could easily give myself.
Does this technically
why don't you just add yourself back?
Make me puffball?
It doesn't not make you puffball. You're an honorary. She said you're honorary for the week. Okay, you've got a visitor's pass.
Like that.
Okay. All right. Anyway, so second of all, Jared, you have to listen to my non-answer before you decide whether or not it's worth hearing. Third of all,
Yeah, just
when your
cut him out of the
strategy
screen,
was
meanie.
Oh, you can't enter saying I hear
Third
what you're
of all-
saying, but I'm not going to answer your question. You
Third
can't
of
do
all,
that.
I can't. Third of all,
that deserves a mute. I'm sorry.
Third of all, I especially can do that when you stated specifically you were just going to steal my answer when I finished. So, here's why it's a non-answer. Like, sure, if we've got a quarterback coming like Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson this year, then sure, I can say it's on the quarterback. But it's also, that's the same side of that coin applies to coach. Like, if you had somehow gotten Bill Belichick to come coach the 2021 Broncos, then yeah, the coaching would have been a lot better this season than it has been. It's not really, we can ask ourselves these kind of hypotheticals, but it's not just a question of if we had changed X or Y, would it have been better? It's who would we have gotten to be in that position that would be better, that was available this year? And I
do like that answer.
I'm
gonna write that one down.
I don't know who the answer is. Like, if Drew Lock is the other quarterback we're talking about, no, I don't think we're having a better season than we're having currently. If Pat Shurmur's the head coach, again, no, I don't think we're having a better season than we're having currently.
The offense can't be worse in my opinion. So.
Yeah, I suppose.
Except for these last. Yeah,
could be.
But
This game, and then 2 games before that, and then 2 games before that, and we're game to game. We don't know which Broncos are going to show up or which one we're going to be coaching. And here's my thing. I love Teddy, and I think that Teddy has a capability of doing good things. I think this is on the coaching staff because Teddy going in and not making the decisions that he can make to be able to make plays downfield if there's wide open receivers comes to a coaching. And if the quarterback is out there and there's open receivers in a scheme, it is up to the coaching staff to make sure that quarterback understands where that ball should be going and what the read should be to be able to get to that scheme. If that scheme is to get people open, which it kind of seems like it is, right? And this is kind of that double-edged sword. It seems like the scheme is to get certain guys open, and it is, but the coaching staff needs to tell Teddy and make sure Teddy's understanding on the way through.
Yeah.
And it comes on down to the coaching staff. And you can blame it on Teddy all you want because he did very well in the preseason. He did very well against certain teams. Yeah. There's guys getting open. Teddy's not seeing them. Yeah. The coaching staff needs to make sure that he understands where the guys are going to be open at.
And I will say this as well. Teddy, to me, has had some bad games. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like we've felt like there's been worse offensive coach games than worse QB play. That was a lot of worst in one sentence.
I get what you're saying, though.
Yeah. No, I
exactly.
But at the end of the day, the reality is this is the cards that were dealt to us at the beginning of the season. We weren't going to start fresh with new coaches. We pretty much knew that at the beginning of the offseason last year. So firing people in mid-season wasn't going to make us have a better record right now. I don't think so.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's true.
Good call.
That's true. And sticking with, there was a lot of people calling for firing after the Cleveland game.
And I'm not saying I'm wrong yet either. If we lose the next game,
right? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but now look at our record.
I know you guys.
Race.
Yeah.
Ayla said it the best. This is the first time in years that we've been in a playoff picture at this time of the year.
Yeah, perfect.
So it's nice. It's nice to be in this playoff picture. However, again, we don't know which week to week. We don't know which Broncos team's going to show up.
Yeah. Nope.
And I think this is since the Tebow years, I think this is the first time that I go into a week being like, we could play, we could not play. I don't know.
We could not play till the fourth quarter and still.
We could not play. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
All
right. Jeff, this is a good question from Jeffrey, and then let's talk about the Cincinnati game just a little bit. Javonte, that's a good call. I'm going to go on offensive line. I'm going to say Quinn Miners.
God.
Sorry. I know.
This is your fault, Kevin. You could have chimed in.
You could have.
I know.
Now you just seem like another Jared trying to steal.
Yep, exactly. Bitch.
Anyway. I'm going to go with Quinn Miners because he has shown himself to be really, really adept at picking up the run game, especially. He has shown a few weaknesses in his passing game. Picking up stunts against especially more talented interior defensive linemen, just kind of knowing his assignment on those zone blocking plays in the passing game. It's tough. It's really, really tough for a guy from Wisconsin Whitewater to come in and just know the calls as a third-round pick in the NFL. And that's what he's being asked to do right now. Say again?
Also expected as a rookie to be better on the line than pass.
And that shows two things. One, to Mike Munchak's credit, to get him to this level and where he's playing as well as he is. Mike Munchak, man, he's the one guy I would love to keep around. If everything got cleared out, I would love to keep him. I'd love to keep an Anise, who's the wide receiver coach. I would love to keep those two guys. But yeah, and what he could do with that guy in the future in the pass block.
Right. That's it. And so yeah, to me, he's got a really high ceiling. Obviously, the physical ability for him is there to play at this level and start at this level. So if he can kind of figure out his pass protection game going forward, it's going to be such a help to the Broncos offensive line and to that whole offensive unit.
Completely agreed.
If we're going back to the original question, for me, it's always going to be Teddy Bridgewater.
Fair. Yeah, totally fair. Yeah.
I mean, he's our quarterback. Love him or hate him. Yes, our run game. But our run game, if we're picking one single player, he's the guy, right? Our run game, we have the two-headed monster. We have 5 people on the offensive line. He's the one position, and that's how it's meant to be. Now, for me, it's not necessarily the player. It's the number one person, and it's going to be Pat Shurmur is going to be the reason if we lose and don't make the playoffs.
Right, because we're going to have to score to make it happen. But also, if our defense keeps up and keeps keeping on and the other team can't score either, and it's just we take it ground and pound the whole time and duke it out that way and let our defense shut them down, that could be, it's not a player, but the defense, if they just show the heck up for the rest of the season.
10 points. We need more than 10 points, even when our defense is playing awesome.
I know we need points. I know we need points, but shutout games and closeout, and 10 points was, it. And they haven't really, so.
The Chiefs game just makes me so mad because the defense was playing at a high level and we scored 9 points.
And that was really hard. Nobody is saying. I mean, playing in Arrowhead. I know. No, I'm not either. I mean, because we'll just hatch it out later on our text messages.
That I'm still not a part of.
No, we don't really text, but
trying to invite yourself, and we keep telling you no.
Jared, you and I
know it's getting
conversation.
Kept we do, and it's not as interesting as people would want it to be. Not as interesting as theirs.
It's very interesting. Okay, God.
But Ayla, I agree with you. I think the defense is kind of the key here, and the one thing about Shurmur after the bye. The one thing that Shurmur has done consistently is stick to the run game. And that's the one thing that we've been calling for. We can give him crap all we want, but the one thing that we've been calling for a really long time is stick to the run game. The problem that happened in Kansas City is that we just never finished.
Yeah.
Right? We got great drives going. We had great running game. We had a great passing game as far as the short stuff. We just never could put it into the end zone. And that's what killed us in the Kansas City game. Now, he's still sticking with the run, regardless of whether we're down or not, which is something we've been asking for. And for 2 out of the last 3 games, he's been doing pretty well. Yeah. So I would. To
your point, Jerry, we had the ball the entire second quarter, and in that game,
didn't end up with points in that, right? So we absolutely did exactly what we were supposed to do: control the clock, don't give the ball to the offense, let our defense stay healthy. But the problem is we have to put in the end zone when we're playing against teams like the Chiefs, or the Bills, or if we get to the playoffs, right?
If it's playoffs, yes. I mean, we will. That's agreed upon 100%. But we might as well bring it up if we're talking about keys to making the playoffs. If our defense can shut everybody down, that is a huge, huge factor of all of it. So.
Well, I mean, even Kansas City, a high-powered offense, is scoring 35 points a game, and we kept them to 20-something points.
Well, and 22, but that was with the touchdown from the pick six. So
really, right on a pick six touchdown.
Right.
6 points from 2 field goals that were given to the other team's offense.
Right.
And maybe that was the only one. But.
Right, and you held them to field goals in those situations.
And we're talking our defense
on that. Yeah. Our defense is playing at a very high level.
And again, 2 years in a row, our defense is the most injured on our team. And of one of the most injured teams in the league, our defense, we're missing all of our starting line. Well, I guess Bradley Chubb's back. But all of our starting linebackers are gone. And it's difficult. We just got Bryce Callahan back. We just got Kareem Jackson.
He didn't
back.
play that much either.
Well,
I was looking for Bryce Callahan out
can
there,
we,
and I didn't
can we
see
give
him
a
much.
mini shout out to Draymond Jones and his mega
How
drive?
have we
of
not
his
talked
career?
about him yet?
Like because we've got
Jeez.
so much other stuff to talk about, but that guy, and he even said he's just like, that was the best series of my career so far.
That
And
was
you know
amazing.
what? Keep it up with that. It was beautiful. He was like, we did it together.
It's like he couldn't do any wrong on that series. It was amazing.
It was that was sick. That was
Talk
really
about
great.
energized.
So shout out to him.
But as good as he's been playing lately, and he has been playing good, the difference for me was when we got Kenny Young. That was a stabilizing force in the middle of the defense that we needed, and it's been a different defense since we've got him. Honestly,
Yeah, it has been.
I don't think it's all because of him, obviously, but he, like I said, he stabilized that middle of that defense.
Right.
Which is, as we go forward, I'm still going to advocate. I don't think Vic Fangio is the problem. I think the people that he surrounds himself with might be, and he might be, loyal to a fault on certain. The clapping monkey up in the booth. Maybe the offensive coordinator at certain levels. He's loyal to a fault, and he's loyal to his people, which you got to respect it at some point. And at some point, you got to be like, hey man, like your job's on the line for these guys. But his defense is absolutely with all the injuries, 2 years in a row. His defense being one of the top defenses in the year
losing the biggest name on our defense. Like Von Miller was like poster child of defense.
But Cooper's been playing at a high level.
Did he show up as the actual leader that we probably needed him to be? Not really, but
and there's been a lot of talks about that game, about that situation with the leadership after he left, and I love Vaughn. I think the leadership under Vaughn, he was MVP for a reason, right? But I think that the defense is playing together a little bit more.
I think it's just different kind of leadership than people really see. I mean, being popular and being a leader are two different things.
True. But I also think that more people have stepped up since Vaughn left. Like, it's not his fault they're playing.
I don't know, and I didn't say
I'm not.
No, I'm not. And
Way
I'm
to
not
go,
saying that at all.
Way to go!
I'm
I
not
think
saying
Gary was saying that, but I don't think
I
Gary
was. Yeah. No, I wasn't saying that they were playing. They were playing
Way to
worse
go,
before,
Jared.
and they're playing better now. I think there's the level of togetherness is a little bit like it used to be. Von Miller on every play.
Yeah.
Right, and that's why we loved him. He used to be Von Miller getting into the backfield or controlling the sideline on every play. Now it seems a little bit more of like a teamwork, right?
Onto it, and they, and then they put him on the shelf because he'd always be double teamed and he couldn't do anything. And then we're like, but where's Vaughn? And it's like he's in a corner between two guys, like
right. And this is just from an outside looking in. This might be one of those things. This might be one of those things on the outside looking in. Outside looking in, there might be people on the defense that are like, Vaughn's got this. Like I don't need to be as aggressive, or I don't need to be as XYZ because the runs towards Vaughn's side, he's gonna get this, right? And now it's more of a like, hey, everybody does their job, and there's a level of that. I don't want to bash on Vaughn. I love him, and
and I wasn't.
I'm glad to see him doing well in the Rams.
I just was merely stating that we, as a team, lost the poster child of our defense of like who people always talk about.
Yeah.
And he's gone.
To me, I give more props to the guys stepping up. Like Vaughn is Vaughn, right? Like we love him. He's been the best player on our team for the last 10 years. I do have one hypothetical that as we're winding down, because
I hate hypotheticals, but go for it.
Is this Joey's hypothetical?
But if we find a way to make the playoffs, if we go 10-7 and make the playoffs, is there a scenario where we keep our coaching staff in place but get a new offensive coordinator?
Yeah.
Oh, that would be awesome.
That's what we've been complaining about all season.
Probably.
Okay, so what if we get a new quarterback and he requests it?
Mm-hmm.
So here's my thing. Going. Yeah. Okay. So good point. I didn't think about that.
I thought you hit
so
that.
I didn't think about that. So if man, this is frustrating. So yeah, if we get somebody that transfers in like an Aaron Rodgers or an Russell Wilson that says I won't play for Shermer, but I'll play for anybody else, which I don't think either one of those really would, because if we got someone like that, we'd play him with the Peyton Manning mindset. It was like, you call your plays, man.
Yeah.
Like you call the plays. Like offensive coordinator's kind of figurehead.
I'll
He's going
take
to give
Russell
you
all day. I'll take.
Yeah,
Russell
he'll give you some
suggestions.
suggestions.
Like which ones? Because like I'm Team Russell Wilson. So
yeah. So I do see
and not just
see a
'cause I'm
level
here in Washington.
if we're drafting, if we're gonna draft a new quarterback, I could see George Payton getting rid of the OC, bringing in a new one. But again, this also comes down to how connected is Vic Fangio.
Yeah.
Is Vic like, if he goes, I go?
I think that's
I
what
don't
Vic
think
would do.
that's gonna
I
happen.
think.
Oh
think
my
George
God,
Payton
get out of
sits-
here. You're not going to leave your head coaching job because somebody else is getting
No. To Jared's point,
that would really okay. That's a new box on the bingo card for that one. Like, oh, never mind. I don't want this.
I don't want it.
My offensive coordinators out
I-
of here.
I-
So
we-
am
we
I.
stay together.
We might win a Super Bowl, but I'm not going to do it with you guys.
but
It would not surprise me.
Bye.
to
God.
to
It
Jared's
would really.
point,
That would be even more stupid than that
it's not
challenge
gonna
flag.
happen. That we
Wouldn't surprise me.
Oh,
he goes, hold on, I need to call my upstairs
I
guy. Hey,
can't.
what
I
do
can't.
I
Hey,
need to
upstairs
do
guy.
about this
Told
one?
me.
He goes, I'm
Oh,
out.
God.
to Jared's point, it's going to come down to Peyton making that call, not Fangio. Fangio's going to stick with Sherman if he can, but he's not the GM.
Right.
True. Yeah, I think that's true.
Right. So I think at this point they're a package deal, and that's the.
There's no way. No,
I don't know. I
We're
think
not bringing back
if you get a veteran quarterback,
Deshaun Hamilton's coming back. Don't you?
He is.
I
I'm right
think
there with you, Jared.
I can't.
I'll see
I
myself
cannot,
out.
I don't see I'm sorry, Jared. I just don't see a universe where George Payton goes to Vic Fangio and says, "It's your job or Pat Shurmur's job." And when I say it's your job or Pat Shurmur's job, it's your job. It's Pat Shurmur's job or both of your jobs. Like, what's Vic Fangio really?
So that's what I'm saying is what he's gonna do is if again, it depends on our offseason mentality, and we don't know where George Payton's thinking right now.
Yeah.
But
And
if George Payton's thought process
we don't know how
is
the rest of the season is going to end up either. So
Yeah.
all of these things are factors.
It's almost.
this is why I hate hypothetical. This is why I hate hypothetical.
If George Payton's
John, what did you start?
if George Payton's mentality is I want to draft a young quarterback and I want to develop him however we need to, then it's going to be okay. It's Shurmur's gone. We're going to bring a new OC in. Fangio, which OC do you want to bring in? And if Fangio is the one that decides, I need Shurmur. Shurmur's my guy. That's when George Payton has to make his decision, right?
Why would he feel that way? The way that our offense has played for most of the season.
Sometimes people are loyal to people.
No,
for
trust me,
no
and I think
reason.
that is him to a fault. But if we win 10 games and make the playoffs, and he'll still feel that way. But there's no way he's going to be like, okay, Peyton, you're way out of left field on this one.
All right, Glenn might have some. I think Ben Albright apparently said Elway made Vic take Pat Shurmur. But if that was the case, I feel like at this level, Glenn's got the inside.
He does.
Okay, Glenn.
If that were the case, oh man, that's an interesting scenario. I didn't know that. Thanks for that piece, Glenn. That really puts
That
a little
makes
bit of
things
it.
interesting. Like, what's going on behind closed doors, man?
Yeah,
I
but
wish I could
if
just
that was
see
the
a fly on
case,
the
why
wall.
wasn't he gone after we were under 500 going
I'll
into
talk about that in the after show.
What?
Oh yeah.
What happened?
Kevin, are you playing music for us right now? Are you playing the finish up music?
No.
Yeah,
Oh.
he is.
I think to that point, though, because I think we've talked about Fangio having a lot of loyalty, maybe once Shermer's on the staff, now he's just showing, a lot of showing so much respect for the guy and just trying to empower the offense to hey, we can't give up on this thing that we've instilled for this season. That's me totally blabbering.
Yeah, absolutely.
The blabbering part?
But to
All
both,
right, well,
yeah, because it was a good point, but you were also blabbering.
All right, let's go around the room. Let's talk about the Cincinnati game. Final thoughts on this last week, and then we're gonna get ready for our after show, where we could kick back, relax. I could finally take off my shirt, and then we can.
You could have taken it off from the very beginning.
Maybe
Maybe not during the DT thing. Like maybe after.
Yeah,
that.
maybe not during the DT. That would have been.
Yeah,
that would
that
have
would've
been
been
rude.
After
done.
that, you could have. Yeah,
Right.
Any other night, just.
But that's why we didn't bring him in before.
That's true. Right.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, I was sitting here naked, and they were just like, just stay on the
Not
side.
now.
Just stay on the side. I'm not now.
No.
Just put a shirt on and don't stand up. You're fine.
Okay, look, Bengals coming to town. Both teams need this win big time. While we're sitting here saying we don't know what Broncos team is going to show up, kind of the Bengals fans are saying the same thing. Bengals, you don't really know which Bengals team is going to show up either. So, it could be a situation where both terrible teams show up and it's going to be a really ugly, painful game. Could be the opposite, and it's a very close, very high scoring game that goes down to the wire there. You don't know. It's just it adds a level of excitement that I don't really like, because it's
no.
I don't like that kind of anticipation.
No,
it's
a true toss up. It's a true toss up this week. It feels like, and this is an outside observation from somebody who's watched precisely 0 minutes of Bengal football this year, but it does feel to me like just the discussion around them is a little bit more variance on the defense. The offense, there's certain players like Jamar Chase or offensive linemen that have up and down games, but Joe Burrow is not a guy who's had real trouble with consistency this year. He's been on every single week. Yes, exactly right. Stay tuned for that after. Not now, Jared. Not now. Not this.
After show.
After show. Anyway, Joe Burrow is a guy who's going to show up and give his best every single week. It is going to be a huge challenge for the Broncos defense. I think it's going to be a bigger challenge than Pat Mahomes presented them, the way that team is playing right now. I think it's probably the best quarterback we've seen since Justin Herbert. And I think he's played more consistently than Herbert has this year. So it's going to be a real tough one for this Broncos defense. It's a good thing that they are on their upswing right now, because they're going to need every ounce of it this week.
And I'll tell you what, with the 10,005 no-shows from this last week, which I still thought were a lot based off everything that was going on.
That was higher than that was higher than the Los Angeles. I almost called them the San Diego Chargers. That
again,
happened.
You did. I
still do it all the time.
You got yourself. So good job. I would hope that there's, that's a much lower number, being that this is, a much bigger game. So it's going to be interesting all the way around. But just like you said, David, I mean, this defense they're clicking on all the right cylinders right now. They're feeling good. They got a lot of momentum and morale behind them after this last game. So that's all the good things that they need moving into this next week. They just have to go out there and execute. And that's the consistency problem, and that's where it goes to my problem with coaching. If players have trouble executing on a week-to-week basis, that makes me think there's something up with coaching. So it's a matter of what's going to happen. But look, we have every tool at our disposal and possibility to win this game. Like, it's just, let's go do it. Yeah. Let's go do it.
For sure.
But I am glad it's at home, because I don't care how many empty.
I'm not glad it's home.
I don't think it's going to be 10,000, but it's still rocking. Mile High is still rocking, and we still have that home field advantage.
Oh, yeah, we do.
9,000, 8,000 don't show up. I mean, we're at the Chargers game. We're at the Chargers game, and it was loud as fuck.
It was loud.
Yep.
I can't believe that many people didn't show up for that game with everything that went on. With everything that went on, I can't believe that many. Yeah, no, so this is a huge part. I think Joe Burrow is the key factor in this whole game, and if you follow us on all of your podcast listening devices, the pregame podcast will be coming out probably around Friday as we record on Thursdays. We're going to talk about Joe Burrow in depth, and I think that if there's one person I'm jealous of, if there's one team I'm jealous of for having their franchise quarterback and someone that's playing very well, it's the Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Burrow is playing very well. They have a young guy in Jamar Chase who just needs to kind of put it together and to become the full package. He's got the speed upfield, and they're playing super, super well. I am worried about this game, but I'm wearing my orange and blue goggles like I always do, David, and I'm ready. I'm ready to be hurt again.
Yeah,
I think the Broncos are playing good football right now. I think the Broncos are in their upswing, and all we got to do is, like we did to Justin Herbert, as you compared the two, shut them down on the offense, and we can score on their defense. The difference is Kansas City's defense was playing very, very well. Cincinnati's defense is very hit or miss, and we're going to hit them on the miss, and we're going to get the good. And again, our running game is playing very well, which is they're very susceptible to. But David, we'll talk about that on the pregame podcast, and I'll explain to you exactly why our run game is better than their run defense. And
I look forward. I look forward to that in-depth analysis, Jim.
And let's see Surtain shut down Jamar Chase. That would be phenomenal.
Absolutely. That'd be great.
Absolutely.
All right, guys.
Ayla.
Yeah, Ayla.
They left.
Well, I mean, the fact of the matter is, after this game, somebody will be coming out 7-7, and somebody will be coming out 8-6. So we will figure out who is who after this weekend. They are battling it out with the Browns in their division. It's still in the hunt. So they are on the same wavelength feeling that we are of trying to make a win happen. And I do believe in Mile High Magic. We're still going to have some vibes coming from this past weekend, some extra energy coming up. I hope it didn't get burnt out like a firecracker. I hope they can keep it going. So I will be cautiously optimistic for it, and hope that we see the good Broncos show up this weekend.
Here's hoping.
I'm done being cautiously optimistic. I'm being full optimistic.
No, you're just going all in.
Maybe
painting yourself like a tiger if we lose.
My feelings get hurt very easily, so I have to tread lightly. So
I never learn.
Yeah,
I think that's the David knows this the best.
I am older than you, so I probably learned a little bit more.
No matter how many times I had to cheat off David in high school, I never learned.
No, that's why you never learned. You just
that's why you never learned.
Yeah, that is definitely clear.
Right.
But God, Kevin, that just looks so good right there. That YouTube channel.
It does.
Oh,
that's nice.
Oh, that is nice.
Maybe I should be
nice.
clicking that link over here in the next few minutes.
That is real fresh.
Yeah, you're gonna have to follow that link and see what happens over there, guys. It's gonna happen real quick. We're gonna
head over here right now. Last question, Glenn. Do we know if they're going to keep the 88 on the field the rest of the season? I'm not sure. I doubt it. I think you need special permission from the league to have additional stuff on the field like that. I doubt it.
I was actually surprised that Vaughn was allowed to wear it on his helmet.
Yeah,
he had to pull something. He had special privileges to make that happen.
Honestly, I think that's the other way around. I think it's it would look really bad if they didn't after playing with him for many years.
Yeah,
you still got to go.
I agree, but they're still pretty meticulous about has to be lined up. It has to.
And the fact that it's the whole team didn't have it like that. Anyway.
And this is gonna sound terrible on the league, and it probably is the real. The Broncos game and the way that went with what happened on the first play, all that got so many views and so good, so many good vibes and likes and good things for the NFL that the NFL wanted to keep that going. And it's unfortunate with everything going on. I think Shelby Harris tweeted it too. Stop using him as a marketing tool. No matter who you are, and I've loved this from the beginning. We've never been a clickbait site, and we never will. Orange Weekly will never be ever be a clickbait, and we'll never use somebody else's tragedy to try to benefit our company in any way, shape, or form. We actually
but it's different.
We took a couple days off,
actually honoring and then using it to a fault. But
for
Von
them,
Miller and him, they were literally brothers. So
right, and that's what I mean is they got so much positive feedback from what happened in the Broncos game they absolutely had to let that happen because they let that happen, and now it's more positive feedback into the NFL. It's so cool that the NFL let him do that, right?
It's very cool. I mean, it was very cool. I mean, that's sportsmanship, that's class, that's necessary. And I'm so glad they let it happen.
Why they should let it stay for the rest of the season as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they should.
Absolutely. So, and I'm going to go off on a rant a little bit before we go into our backstage and break off. But the quick rant, I know, guys, I'm sorry. I know you want me to take off my shirt, but look,
Are you Winnie the Poohing it right now? Are you Winnie the Poohing it right now?
Well, if he is, he's not the only one. But
so here's my thing. I'm 100% on board with Shelby Harris. There's a lot of Denver media, and I love Denver media. We get a lot of our input from there. But there's a lot of Denver media that's taking advantage of this. We are never going to be a clickbait site. Orange Weekly will never be. We're never going to be someone who's trying to get your likes, try to get your clicks. We're here to do it for fun. We're here because, first of all, the five of us here love each other. And we love you guys. We love you guys joining us. Why did everybody do the same thing except for Kev? Thank you, Kev. Thank you. But here's our thing is there's a lot of people trying to say that this game is going to drive us into the playoffs because what he did and he was there and all the numbers, and we're not here for that. Mm-hmm. We did not post our post game, but we found out, me and David found out in the pregame podcast. Ayla, you text us probably like 10 minutes after we finished recording the pregame podcast to let us know, like, is this real? And we're like, no. And then we looked into it and like, oh. So like we waited to post that because we just didn't feel it right. It wasn't right with everything going on. And we're never going to be those people here at Orange Weekly, and I don't care if we don't grow more than we are at this point. We're never gonna be those people. So that's my last words on this, and I had to say it from the heart on that, and that's what it is. Yep. We really appreciate you guys watching. We appreciate the honest follows, and thank you guys so much.
Appreciate all of you. The Backstage show, again, I mean, all of these shows are just for you guys, the fans. Backstage is just another example of that. We're going to have some fun. We're going to have some just crazy talk and shenanigans and drinking and whatnot, and a chance for you guys to come on over to our YouTube and hang out with us. Join the conversation, join in the fun.
The crazy talk is my favorite part.
Huh?
The crazy talk is my favorite part.
It does get crazy.
I have with this one crazy talk. I thought all of ours were legitimate and great business ideas. Tons of great business ideas. That's for sure.
Lots of great business ideas.
Several.
So if you want to hear them, what those ideas are, head on over to the YouTube link right below. It's very easy to type out. We were able to get it updated, so we're good there. With that being said, everyone, to the awesome hosts of John, Jared, David, and Ayla, you're awesome. Thanks to everybody who's been watching, commenting, all our fans. You guys are fantastic. But it is time for us to leave here, end this show, and head over to YouTube. So we will end it as we always do on a tip of the hat to Demaryius Thomas and a very strong Go Broncos.
Do what I like, yeah, I do what I like, yeah, I do what I like. Sipping goose, if it's right, and I go